everybody. We've made it. We are live and talk all things designing, pattern cutting, sewing, the best sewing patterns to pick for dresses perfect for autumns. I'm very lucky to have my special guest on today. I'm going to introduce you in a second. And I apologize for the technical problems. YouTube live together is the most glitchy thing there is. So we finally managed to get Jen on, and hopefully you'll be able to see the video in a second. And of course, we would love a thumbs up if you're enjoying that. And if you haven't subscribed to Jen, please do. If you haven't subscribed to me,
with
please
Olay
do.
refillable, reusable.
My phone's just kicked off.
And
What happened
I think you can see it live on both our channels. So that's the first time I've done it. So it'll be quite exciting. And let me introduce. So today I'm with Miss J Sews, who you might know from Instagram. And we've known each other for, I think, 4 or 5 years. And we get on fantastic, even though I couldn't pronounce your name at all to begin with, because Sews is not a friendly name for somebody like me. And of course, your name is Janet, but I'll let you introduce yourself and tell people a bit more about you.
Yes, that's a very apt and very correct introduction. Thank you very much. I'm Janet, and I'm pleased to have been one of Charlotta's students for the last, I don't know, since COVID, I think, probably.
Yes, we met on Instagram Live. I remember you the first time because you were really chatty.
You know what? I don't know how people use the internet for bad things, because the internet can be a fantastic thing. And how I met Charlotta was she was doing a live, and I was instantly enchanted. She was doing I can't remember, vintage design. I love my vintage designs. And Charlotta just took this picture that looked as complicated as all hell. And then she started breaking it down and doing it. And I was like, what? I was really amazed. And I think she wanted something from one of the books that I'd purchased. And I went and got it. And I read the passage that she wanted. And I thought, this woman's fantastic. I need a bit more of this. I do. And I found the money and I signed up QuickTime in a hurry. I didn't even hesitate because I was really interested, because I've never had the opportunity to work with somebody who broke down designs like that before. So I'm really happy. And I lean towards vintage designs anyway. So it really fitted me and what I like, my aesthetic and what I like to see. Although I don't really dress in that style every day. But yes, I do love the complicated style lines and how you, Charlotta, broke them down so well. So that's how we met. And I'm very thankful that I turned on my Instagram that night.
Yes. And now, about 3 years later, you've got your own sewing pattern, which is a fantastic.
Can you believe that? Can you believe that? I mean, I've always wanted to work in the sewing arena, but I never did it, did I? I went in the corporate life and went to work in my business suit and my case, and never did anything to do with sewing as anything more than a passing hobby. That started because I couldn't get things to fit me in the store the way I liked. And I was always a little bit offbeat, so I never was in fashion. And always did my own little thing. And I remember I started sewing when I was a child, actually. My mum taught me. And I used to take my annual leave from work and run to pattern cutting school for like 2 weeks. And they'd say, where'd you go for holiday? I stayed at home. I didn't do anything. I didn't go anywhere. And they thought I was the meanest person on earth. They didn't know. I'd nipped off to St. Martin's. I'd nipped off to London College of Fashion to spend my holiday there and do courses. And I knew I really enjoyed it, because whenever the course ended, I'd be in tears. I'd be crying on the way home in the tube, like, it's finished. And I was always the oldest one in the class. It's really strange, even back then. And I didn't let it stop me. I was always the oldest one, the largest one. I don't care. I'm always the first to put my hands up and ask, hey, sir, how does this go?
And then, you probably were the only one who really got something out of the class because you're fully invested and wanted to be there.
Fully invested.
Like 18-year-old, yeah.
That's, it's so true, because I had no money and I saved to go, and I didn't go on my annual leave. So I had no rest. So straight from work to college, back to work. So I was really invested in it. I was really, bright-eyed and ready to take notes and eating it all in. And it's true, it's a different mindset, actually, when you don't care. Because I remember when I did a course and a girl turned up and you could see she didn't care. You could see she didn't pay for the course and didn't care. And she sort of like drifted and looked at her nails and looked out the window the whole time. So it's different when you really enjoy it. So I'm really blessed to have continued practicing when I can. And I actually was in a position where I wanted to do something where I could be more from home. And I thought, I'm going to see how it works if I translate what I like and what I think works into patterns in a commercial sense and retail them and see if people like the design. So I started off with one and then it became two and hopefully there'll be three. But yes, that's the genesis of me, I guess.
Yes, and the nice thing is because Jen and I both love vintage designs, but it's interesting because I don't really dress at vintage, and it's quite hard because I get to look at all these beautiful things, and when I want to make them, but it's actually one thing we can talk about. It's how to, or what we wanted to talk about is actually pick designs you wear, because I think we all can get seduced by beautiful things. But what I like about your dresses, for example, they have an vintage influence, but they're really wearable. And they're sort of, they're day wear. They're not sort of, you can put them on and wear them all day, be practical and still look fabulous.
Thank you very much for saying that.
You're welcome. But that's what we wanted to do, is sort of talk about, because I think dresses are great because you can put them on, you got your whole outfit. They're always, I think, maybe a bit more put together. Do you agree? Compared, I think with trousers, a suit can be, but often what I like about trousers and tops, it's more differentiated, a bit more layered, while a dress is like an outfit, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the reason I like dresses is because historically at work, I'd get dressed, I'd pick things from the night before, and sometimes I feel pressed for time and I don't feel particularly creative, and I think, okay, a dress is fine. Now all I have to worry about is the shoes and maybe the jacket if it's not matching. With separates, obviously you get more bang for your buck with your wardrobe. You can rotate different tops and different bottoms. So I do like separates, but because I think I lean towards dresses, because when I grew up, buying trousers was always a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. Because I've been blessed in the back, you buy a pair of trousers and to fit the hip, you've got that huge gap at the back.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I'm not into it. I'm really not into it. I can't be bothered to take it to a tailor. I know I should. I'd rather just try and make something from scratch. And that's why I started to lean towards dresses, because it was easier at first. But then I do love dresses. I do like the look. I do like a nipped in waist and a larger skirt and things like that. So that sort of 50s sort of influence, I do enjoy it. I do struggle to dress casually. If I'm honest with you, I do struggle. A relative gave me a tracksuit and I was like, what do I do with, how do I wear this?
And I think it's also because it's sort of changed so much. Like, even like, I remember 10 years ago, there used to be a meme like yoga pants and not outdoor pants. And now everybody, that's just like 90% of the people I see on the street are wearing workout clothes or tracksuits. So yeah, it's sort of like actually quite nice to, I'm getting more like that. It has to be woven, my garments, because otherwise it's so comfortable. You just like wear your PJs all day, basically. Just slightly, a lot more expensive, maybe slightly better looking.
Yeah, I mean, I do own trainers and I do have one tracksuit now, but I did struggle at first to actually open the front door and go out in it. I did, because I felt people looking at me. I feel really odd. And I'm always overdressed when I go out. I remember we went to a barbecue. And I went in, you might have seen it on my Instagram, my cherry dress with the strapless. And people looking at me like, where's she going?
I would just say best dressed.
Best
dressed. You're raising your standards, Jen.
Yes.
And the nice thing is, you actually dress, you always get conversation started, isn't it? Because I think most people love fashion, and quite often, if you're really busy, it's really hard to, put something on. But it's so nice to talk about fashion. So I always love when you see somebody who is like nicely dressed.
Oh yeah, yes. But it's funny enough. I wore a dress I made a few years back. It was 3/4 length, so ankle length, and it had a scoop back, and it was really nice. I liked it, and I got 14 compliments on one day. Damn near fell over. Not a business card or anything to hand out. And the people stopped. The nice one was an older man, and he stopped me. He looked really slick, beautiful hat, and he looked wonderful. He stepped straight out of a storybook, and he said I looked nice, and I was grinning from probably there to there. It was crazy, but that day was just like, wow, people really like this dress.
Yeah.
But I had nothing to tell them about. I didn't have a business card or anything. I didn't have an Instagram then. I was just happy.
Is it going to be your next sewing pattern?
It should be, shouldn't
it?
Yes. It should be.
Compliment dress.
It should be. Yes, it really should be. But yeah, that was a good day. It was a very good day. But yeah, I don't sew everything that I wear, obviously.
No. I'm just reading Natalie's comment, and it would be a dream holiday to go to London College of Fashion for a holiday. So there you go. Jen.
Oh, that's good. I'm
Yeah,
not
work
crazy
people
then.
might have thought you mean, but for us, it's a dream holiday. Yeah,
I
I think yeah, it's like and there are because I've sort of worked at St. Martin's and now I sort of teach and I've sort of work in the back room. So if you ever want to know which courses are good, do feel free to message me or something. I can have a look into it because I think you probably, if anything tailoring is normally good. There's a few courses I wouldn't recommend.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything specific like what you probably did, tailoring, pattern cutting, we're normally really good.
Yeah.
And a
that
lot
was-
cheaper than a degree. So
It's a nice environment to be in.
Yeah.
Even though it's a short period, it's a nice environment because I'm not really around creatives every day because nobody in my circle sews or does anything creative like that. So it's nice.
Yes, and you also get to go to the proper studios, isn't it? So I haven't got that set up at home still or anywhere else I've ever worked
Fascinating.
as good as the universities.
My eyes were on stalks, all the dummies and the things and the huge desks and
The irons.
Yeah. I'd never seen those before. It's like, wow, even the machines. And I was like, it can be intimidating, particularly St. Martin's. The architecture of it's quite huge. But I don't allow myself to be intimidated. I'm just ready to soak all the knowledge in. So
Yes.
I can't see the comments actually. I did before. I don't see them now.
Oh, you should be able to slide
there's
it
one.
up maybe.
I see hello,
And
Suzanne.
actually, I would love to know if all of the people in the chat are fans of dresses. I know some of you are, maybe some are more separate. And of course, what we want to talk about is today, this, if you're in the UK, like me and Janet, today, this morning, lots of rain, now the sunshine. So this is actually, it's 90% of life in the UK. But I think autumn is like a great time because, you know, it's actually not as hot as summer, so you can sort of wear a dress a few times. But you have to sort of maybe have a few considerations, but also lots of opportunities for dresses. So we've made a few points we'd like to talk about. You, of course, we'd love to hear in the chat what you think about it as well. But shall we start with styles, Jen? So with dresses, of course, you know, as Jen said, like you were wearing like a strapless dress for barbecue or a sundress for barbecue is perfect. But what's quite nice in autumn is that's, I think, always the dress styles. You get the most use out of it because autumn and spring are sort of similar. So I always like something which isn't as fitted in summer. Well, high summer you want to get loose again because it's too hot. But sort of May, June, you can have all really nice 1950s fitted dresses. But autumn is always where you want to have a little bit more room. Your arms, a sleeve covered, so you can put a jacket on top. Maybe a slightly longer length. So I think shirt dresses are perfect for autumn and spring. I think they're perfect all year round, but it's sort of the shirt dresses. I don't actually know what I would call this style. It's like quite old fashioned. It's like my Amish style period.
Yeah.
It's sort of slightly, but it's a sort of tunic dresses, wrap dresses work well as well. And also what you can what do you think, Jen? I'm sort of thinking, I'm thinking actually I put my favorite tunic here, which this is like such a weird, because it's nothing special, but you get compliments for this from women when you wear it. Because I think it looks like you're doing stuff, like you can like wear it all day and be comfortable. But I think even tunic. Sorry, go on.
No, I think we look at things differently to fellas because I think we can appreciate a dress that doesn't show the body shape. Like what do you call them dresses again? They're really flowy. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like what the Americans call muumuu.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
We can wear a muumuu and say that looks really cool. It looks really cute, but a man probably
you look
wouldn't
really
see it the same
relaxed
way. And glamorous, and everything's just flowing. I must make one actually. Now we talk about it, I must do one. But yes, I think there's a difference between men and women. I think to generalize, we can understand when a dress just hangs nicely away from the body. So that one behind you, I do like that.
Yes. Oh yeah, and Astrid saying it's a kaftan as well, sort of sort of real glamour. Yeah, I've got a few. Yes, no, they're great for summer. But it is that sort of, I think, but female fashion designers in general are different from men. So male designers, if you think John Galliano is full on glamour, by somebody like Miuccia Prada or I always forgot her name, which is really rude, for Lady at Dior. They make really wearable clothes. Like you can
Mhm.
imagine yourself wearing it,
Mhm.
and doing stuff. So yeah, I think sort of clothes. When you look at the sewing pattern, for example, think about what you can do with the sleeves. The collar will work to wear underneath a coat as well. Whether it's sort of loose enough to layer or wear a slip underneath.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stuff like that. And of course, the great thing is, like, I think on your patterns, you got a few pattern hacks as well. Often if you have a sewing pattern, you have more for summer, you can
Yeah.
actually pattern hack it slightly.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I hack every pattern that I buy. I haven't bought much recently, but I hack every pattern. Well, I have to some degree to get it to fit the way I want it to fit. But I do like adding a length of the sleeve if necessary. I do like adding a bit of length to the hem. The simple hacks like that, just to get it the way I want it to get. 'Cause it's not that challenging to do, really, just to lengthen at the lengthen and shorten lines, I find.
yes, or you can also have fun and stuff. So I just had to look up. Astrid said Hillary Clinton was wearing a beautiful kaftan or a dress recently,
Oh,
and yes, I just looked it up. I
straight to
think
Google.
yes.
It's a
um,
Google fest.
Yes, yeah. And yeah, if you're sort of talking about details and sleeves, well, this is a really basic sleeve. So because I think for this sort of transition period, you either want a sort of a long sleeve, which can be quite a statement sleeve, because that's great because then you can wear a thermal layer underneath. And what's
Yeah.
nice about this one for sort of warmer autumn is you can wear it short and then you can actually fold it
Oh,
down.
cool.
So what I've
Yeah,
done, that's quite
it's
it's
cute.
specific, so quite it's naive, it's a bit historical, but actually when you're a bit cold, you don't want the short sleeve, you can
Mm.
fold it down. And this dress is the same. That's actually more practical because if you fold it up, it's sort of above, it hits your elbow point here. And then if you
Right.
fold it down, it's a 3/4. So again, it
Yeah.
sort of lets you go from quite nice sunshine, let's get our arms out, to more practical. And
And
it's
it's a good
really
thing to
easy.
think about.
Yeah, and it's really
A
easy
good
to
thing.
make because all you do is attach. You have a grown on, or you just have a really deep facing,
Hmm.
and that way you get two sleeves out of it.
That's a great
Um,
idea, actually.
yeah, but it's sort
A
of
great
like
idea.
sometimes you want like a really glamorous sleeve, but this is what I would call a working sleeve, as
Yeah,
such.
that's nice. It's
Yeah,
nice at both lengths. I like that.
yeah.
I'll
And
be
what's
stealing
nice
that.
if you have like a 3/4 length, you can have like a full length layer underneath, and it looks like you've done it on purpose. I always think
Mm.
because if you
Mm.
have both roughly the same, it looks, yeah, you're wearing a thermal layer. But if you're wearing that with like a contrast underneath, then it looks like you actually did it on
Yeah,
purpose
it's a
rather
very
than
good
just being
idea.
felt.
And the fact you've got the button stand like that, you can open it more when it's warmer, close it up
Yeah.
when it's colder.
And again, if you've got like contrast layer underneath, you can sort of play around with it. Because you're
Yeah.
wearing layers as well, aren't you, Jen, today?
Today I'm wearing
Oh
my
yes.
sweet talk dress, but it's cold as hell today, so I put a
Yeah.
shirt underneath it. So
But that's again like that's got to be a statement sleeve. But again, I think if you would because you're wearing like a real again the print underneath is contrast, it works,
mm.
doesn't it? It's about thinking like if you have a layer underneath, it has to sort of, I think even if it's like, for example, pure black or um like a really neutral color, that works. White, black, navy maybe, isn't it? That works really
Yes,
well. But
yeah,
otherwise it's really nice to actually make a statement like you've done. Um
yeah. I used to do things like this for work, wear a shirt underneath the dress if the dress sleeve was appropriate. Some things don't suit, but it
no.
works quite well with this. It works quite
Yeah,
well.
I'm
So I
actually
belted it
surprised
as well.
because it's
Belted it.
such a statement sleeve. So you think it's going to be quite hard, but it works really well.
Yeah,
This
I feel quite good.
frill. No, I really like it.
Pop my collar a bit more, but yeah.
And you get Natalie saying, "I like how Jen is wearing a shirt under her
Oh,
suit."
thank you, Natty. That's very nice.
Yeah,
It is
and of
so
course,
cold.
actually, that's like having a shirt rather than I was talking about, like, jumpers and thermal layers or sort of base layers. A shirt is a bit more dressed again, so that works really well.
Yeah, yeah, I
And
quite like that.
you could even, when you're doing your sewing patterns, if if you have like, because you got the black on the shirt, which of corresponds to a dress. Um,
Yes.
yeah, when you're making sort of, have I been talking? I think I've talked about it with my London Fashion Week review a bit about how by Roxanda is so great because everything is thought through and coherent. And that's a bit like that when you make your own clothes or your sewing patterns. If you, for example, always have a certain color you really love and buy some extra of the fabric, like a cotton or something, and then you can do all your details and stuff like that, and you're binding that color, and that pulls everything together. So like your button and your, actually no, it's a collar stand, isn't it?
It's a collar stand. Yeah, they've done the
Yeah.
collar stand. I didn't make this, in honesty. I
No.
didn't make this. It's this one, probably Hawes and Curtis. But
Yeah.
yes, they've done the stand in black. That's why I
Yeah.
liked it, because it had a masculine look to it that I liked.
Yes,
They
yeah.
did this collar stand in black, and they used the black obviously in the design and
Yeah.
black buttons, and I liked it for that. So I thought it will go well with this today.
But even sort of, for example, rather than having a grown-on facing, if you had a contrast facing, and then you can sort of, if you make a jacket, you can have a make. It's sort of quite, it's quite vintage as well. I think having a sort of, they always like matching bags and shoes and hats, isn't it?
Yes.
But you can make it a little bit more subtle, maybe update it for your own choices. But sort of, yeah, if you just basically just, when you make your own clothes, it's really easy to create a wardrobe rather than lots of separate pieces, because
Yes.
you always pick the colors which match and stuff like that.
And I think it's a different mindset when you make your own wardrobe, because sewing is not a slow endeavor, and it's not a cheap endeavor. So if you make your own garment, you're going to think about it more. How am I going to wear this? Where am I going to wear this? How can I make it so that if I gain weight, I can still wear it? If I lose weight, I can still wear it? Because it's not like a throwaway $2.99 garment. It's something you put heart and soul into. And I think when you sew, you try to make your things for longevity. Well, that's what I try to do anyway. I've got things in the wardrobe I made a while ago, and I still wear them because I see the time. I see the time, and I see the love, and I see the money I put into it, and I try to make them investment pieces.
Yeah.
So I'm not really a fast fashion girly in that sense. I'm not saying I haven't got fast fashion pieces, but even when I buy them, actually, I try to keep them forever. I've got things I've bought from the 80s still in my wardrobe.
But it is the nice thing is, once you know how to sew and you adapt your pattern, you can take all these like stuff you buy, or if you see something with sale. I used to love shopping. I don't do as much anymore because, again, once you realize how much work goes into clothes and you want stuff which lasts for ages, you sort of get a little bit cynical sometimes in shops. But sometimes you see really nice stuff, and I've got one. I bought I think it's like a summer jumpsuit from H&M, and it has had sleeves added, the trousers changed. I've dyed it 3 times, but it's like you can even, like if something starts out fast fashion, you can still make it slow fashion. It's like a whole upcycling thing, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
and again, if you wore it in the 80s, or this is like now 15 years old, you revisit and you say, oh yeah, maybe the shoulder doesn't work, but I remember nice things, so I want to keep it and update it. And Natalie says the 80s are back in fashion. Yes, they have been for a while.
Amazing,
very scarily. It's now going up to the 2000, which I find really scary because I can spot all the stuff I wore as a teenager.
Yes, I wish I kept my Rara dress now. Damn it! If I had known, I think I gave it to a charity shop. Mistake.
Yeah, but it's like all these sort of cutouts I used to wear as a 16-year-old. You think, or 18-year-old? You think, oh yes, I should have kept that.
Even then, I wasn't in fashion because I used to just wear what we could afford, and sometimes we couldn't afford the latest fashion. So you remember they had the jelly shoes, and they had the. Do you remember those plastic bags they had with the lines cut out of it, so you could see everything you carried in the bag?
Oh yes,
Every girl had that.
No.
Good grief! What was the point? Everybody could see what you were carrying, and I never had
and also
that.
you have to then have everything very pretty inside, isn't it?
Because everything's visible.
No, my mum was quite strict, so it was like with shoes, like always, when everybody has the same shoes.
I was in the Clarks. They used to mock me at school for my Clarks, but I've got lovely feet now. So.
And if you're not in the UK, Clarks is the shoe you go for your school shoes, and it's sort of they're very what do you call it? Podiatrically, orthopedically correct. But actually, my mother would love it because that's all arguments about heel heights and stuff like that.
Having said that, I'm still a Clarks fan. They're very good actually, Clarks.
They have really nice stuff, and they've lasted for ages. And as we're saying, the very wide shoulders are very disturbing. Yeah, that's a trend I didn't understand the first time around, and I don't want to see it coming.
I understand it because my shoulders are quite sloping. Actually,
I could do the opposite to me.
Yeah, I've got slopey shoulders. I could do it putting a shoulder pad in here and giving a bit more heft. Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind a shoulder pad.
No. Yeah, but
or a bust pad.
I understand a bit of a shoulder pad, but it's like the really big Terra Mugler, isn't it? At the top.
I think
And
because
that's,
I used to watch Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, and the girl on that had shoulder pads for days. I quite liked it.
but it's like Blade Runner, the original one. That's pure like 80s fashion, but actually looks really futuristic, doesn't it? But it's
I
like
have to
again,
confess, I've never watched Blade Runner.
you have to see it just for the fashion because
Can
they're
you
good
believe
shoulder
that?
pads.
Really, I've not seen. Yeah, I'll look. I'll see if it's on Prime. I've not seen it yet.
I think it might have all costumes might have been made by Terry Mugler. So
Okay.
yeah, we actually like talk. Sorry, this is slightly going off tangent, but we just rewatched the Godfather trilogy.
Oh yeah.
They released the Francis Coppola cut, but the
Yeah.
clothes in there are fascinating because going back through because it's filmed in the 70s, but it's supposed to be the 40s, but all the clothes look like the 70s.
Right. Oh, do
But
they?
yeah, and the last one is filmed maybe in the I think late 80s. But
Yeah.
they got actually beautiful autumn clothes, sort of like fitted dresses and stuff, and full skirts. I can see that 80s coming back, like the really nice jewel colors.
Yes.
Actually, shall we? Sorry, I'm going to read some more comments. Natalie says they have Clarks in Australia. Yes, I can imagine. It's sort of Marks and Spencers and Clarks, isn't it? And Astrid is saying, but not 2 inches off the edge. Yeah, so I think like when shoulder pads become like that, that's yeah. And Natalie's saying I had linebacker shoulder pads. Yes, and I think Natalie made all her clothes herself in the 80s. So yes, but yeah, impressive. Sort of what you see, it's always something new, isn't it?
I'll have to rewatch The Godfather. It's been a while since I've seen that film, so I'll definitely look out for that.
Watch it for the fashion. But actually, that made me think. Shall we talk a little bit about fabrics, because I think we've touched a bit, but I think that make all the difference. So this your sweetheart? Is it the sweetheart dress, isn't it?
This is the Sweet Talk, yeah.
Yeah, Sweet Talk. And what fabrics would you use to make it more autumn?
Well, I don't see why this couldn't be done on a light wool. Oh, yeah. I personally don't wear a lot of wool because I find it itchy, which is really heartbreaking because I love wool. But every time I get it, it doesn't make any sense. I'm like this the whole day. So I don't really use wool for myself, which is a shame. But I would definitely make this in maybe a wool. This could work in a cotton, which is a linen, wool, even a stretch that with a minimal stretch, I think it would work as well. But wool would be gorgeous.
Talking about on the Q&A the other day, Jen. But
I've got it here. Hang on, it's on the floor. Because I need to ask the community what I should make with this thing.
Oh yes, shit.
Lovely. It's sent to me from, I think it was the Luth Fabrics, and it's lovely.
And what's it called again?
Bengaline.
Yeah, Bengaline.
I find a lot of the reproduction vintage companies, they use Bengaline. This one has a slight stretch. This is the selvage, and it's stretching along the selvage, so I turn it this way.
Yeah.
But I think
it's got the stretch going the other way with normal fabric, but it's basically like a repro fabric. I think it's a cotton stretch normally, but it looks like a real vintage dress fabric. So yeah, I could really see that for autumn.
I'm looking forward to making something with this. I'm going to ask people what I should make because I had a dress in my head and I thought, dress again? What is wrong with you? But I'll share some sketches and see what you
Have you done
make.
some? How is it to stitch this? Have you made some samples with it?
I haven't even tested it yet. No. It should. I feel it was so a dream. I think it's gonna be lovely.
No, it looks like really nice because I had one red fabric. It was like a pretend suiting fabric with lots of stretch. Oh, yeah. And I thought, oh, that's so nice. I make a dress. And it was such a pain to stitch this. I've never had anything like it, and they just like, it starts packering. Like it was a dress I've made lots of times. So you never know, do you? So I'm hoping this looks like it could be nice.
In my head, I see something with a yoke, something with a curved yoke here, but gathered into the bust. I see maybe. I need to get away from waistbands. I fancy a waist. I don't know. But I definitely want to do something with a curve here.
And a full skirt?
Yeah, I think I've got enough fabric. I can't remember how many yards I have. Is it 5? Is it 4? I'm not sure. It's 60 wide, so that's helpful. Quite a bit. It's absolutely lovely.
Yeah. No, I can imagine like a real sort of maybe 1970s talk. It's sort of there's nice volumes, but you can make it fit for yourself.
Yeah. Remember we were talking about lining it as well, because lining is good for autumn, makes everything
Yes.
slightly warmer. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking one of those ITY stretch fabrics might be good for the inside.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. I was thinking about fabrics. Yeah, wools are always, cotton wools are nice. This is actually really bizarrely a quilting fabric.
Mm-hmm.
I found a
Nice.
remnant, but it's nice, but it's a bit heavier weight, because I think quite often a lot of dressmaking shops will have a lightweight, like a cotton lawns and stuff, but it's a medium weight cotton, like with Bengaline. It's actually really hard to get them. That's a real hard worker for dresses you can wear all day,
Yeah.
and it's also got that weight. It's gonna feel nice. Actually, denim is always really good. Corduroy.
Yes.
You have to. Oh, and Natalie's loving the color of the Bengaline. Yes, and lovely red, isn't it? Really warm.
Oh, it's so just. It can't
So
mess it up.
scary.
I've definitely got to do a muslin beforehand. If I mess this up, I'll be definitely crying. Because
No pressure. Again, with corduroy, you have to really look out for because you can get 100% cotton cord or corduroy.
Oh, yeah.
And you can get some with stretch. And I was talking about it in the Q&A. I bought some with stretch, and it behaves really differently. So if you want like a structured shirt dress, you want the 100% one, because that's going to age. You know, corduroy gets really soft and lovely, but a stretchy one doesn't have that. Maybe velvet as well.
Say again, beg pardon?
Velvet might be nice as well. That's more like autumn.
Oh, yeah, velvet's a good idea.
I'm sort of thinking about if the 80s and 90s, and that's sort of very and one thing actually the 80s I love is the colors. Like I said, like with jewel colors, like with reds, you know, the really lovely rich purples, all these sort of colors which they just look really timeless. And warm, don't they? And even like the orange you have behind you, I can imagine that. Yes.
Yes. Funny enough, I have got some orange fabric, but I don't think orange suits me. Not up to my face anyway. I'll wear
it looks nice behind you. Yeah.
But I find, I don't know, orange is the only colour I struggle with. I don't know why.
I think it also has to be the right type of orange. The same as the red you have is a nice warm red, but there's like blue reds, which really horrible. And again, with orange, it can be quite a cold orange, or like a neon orange, and it's completely different from like a reddish warming one. And I think that's the problem when you're buying online. It's like you want to be really particular with the colours.
This is the thing, I buy online and it's just like, I sometimes have to get creative. Be like, okay, it's not really what I wanted, but I'm going to do something because I can't waste my money. Online is always a bit of a lottery, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But then again, even when I shop in real life, it's a lottery because I get excited. And if I have a credit card, I get excited. And I'm like,
paid.
I lose all sense. What are you going to wear this for? I don't know. I just love it. Yeah. I need to have it. Then you bring it home and you...
Yeah, one thing I actually learned from working for a company who were like really particular about color is that you take it outside. So even a fabric shop, if you take it to the window, because they always have these really bright lights, isn't it? And then stuff looks completely different. And again, like actually, because I'm down here with spotlights, and when sometimes I make stuff here, and I think, did we have? Oh, I can show everybody. Where is it? This is like I've had this fabric for
ages. My God, I love that.
I absolutely love it. And I put it on, and it completely clashes my skin color in real life. But on the screen, can you see it looks fine? Actually, no, on the laptop it looks awful. My phone, and I use my phone as my mirror because despite being in fashion, I haven't got a mirror in my studio. And it looks really nice, and it sort of complements my skin tone. And when I took it outside, and it made me look awful. It made me look grey and then white and pink. So it's always like important, like with fabrics, actually, take it to different light sources. Especially in autumn, you feel a bit ill and not that excited. You want like fabrics to give you a little burst.
I think sometimes it's because we're not used to that colour, because I struggle with grey. This sounds stupid. I struggle with grey and I struggle with orange. Why? There's no need for grey not to suit me, but I just feel odd in grey.
Yeah. No, and again, grey is like, it can be really horrible and it can be really beautiful, isn't it?
Yes, I've got a piece of grey here actually. I was supposed to be making a frock for Lily. Not Lily, little Jackie, but I've fallen behind schedule, but yeah, I've got this grey. It's a leftover from a pair of pants.
Oh
I've
yes,
made.
nice.
I don't know.
I think it's always got that corporate look, isn't it? You have to be really careful because you think,
Yeah.
white shirt and a suit.
Yeah.
And Natalie's loving a fabric. Yeah, it's so amazing. So I cut the bodice. I think I showed it on the community. That's actually the back, and the front is like that. So I haven't actually done anything because what I might have to do is either bind everything in black or maybe make it into like a shirt dress or something. So I didn't want to waste any more fabric. But you never know.
Edge it with black.
Yeah, it was my thinking that if I have a black edge, that will break up. That it's basically
like a piping or like a facing.
But I thought piping,
or edging, to say.
Yeah,
piping would be nice.
Yeah, but even if I do like a nice binding, that might be. Yeah, because black pipe. If you buy piping, it's always quite cheap cotton, so it's gonna bleach out. So if I make my own binding, I could make
your own.
Yeah,
that'd be
but
nice.
It's like one of those projects.
Nice.
But it'll be next spring. I revisit that.
It'll make the print pop more. I think that's lovely.
Yeah, thank you.
That is lovely.
Yeah, so but you already mentioned about lining dresses. That's like really true. So if you want something, like even like a summer dress, you could update for autumn for lining. And also if you have lined it, you can wear something underneath and it won't stick. Because I think
sometimes.
Go
on.
I was gonna say I was wearing this dress on top of leggings the other day, and I don't know how you are, but it just goes in between your legs when you walk, and it looks like it's being eaten up by your legs. And that's one of the things. So I always now I wear a slip. I've turned into my grandmother. I always have an undergarment on.
I haven't worn a slip in.
You're young, and your mum and your grandmother, they're like like these.
I used to wear slips. Come on. I used to wear slips, and then the cheap ones though with the static, and you get.
Yeah.
Oh man.
No, I've got one. I think I bought years ago, but it's actually I want to make some now because I think they are like really versatile. I think you could do different weights of silk and stuff, and actually make it really warm as well. But if you have a good one, they're amazing because it makes garments float rather than cling and sort of be eaten up.
That's the thing. I only had the cheap nylon ones with the static, and everything was a big staticky mess. And everywhere you went and saw a metal hanger, you'd be running that hanger over it to get rid of the static.
But actually,
nightmare.
One of mine was a really cheapie from British Home Stores, which Jen will probably remember, for like £5. But I think it's that sort of jersey because Esther is saying you can't find good ones anymore. Yeah, so that was 20 years ago.
Them anymore, I think.
I could imagine you find it in some, maybe like a sort of county store, like a sort of somebody who knows that women actually need good, slips and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, for me, sometimes I wear they're not called big knickers. What are they called? Shapewear.
Oh yeah.
I've got some of the ones that are like shorts, so they don't, you don't have the line.
Oh yes.
You feel, because funny enough, I feel very insecure when my garments are light. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If I'm wearing a dress or a skirt and the skirt is light, I'm like, is it still down? Is it there? Has it ridden up? Did I go to the toilet? Is it the knickers? And I don't like a light skirt. Let me show you something actually.
Oh. No, it's that you want something to hang as well, and not.
I like to feel it. I like to feel its presence. So sometimes I underline stuff like this dress here.
Oh, it's pretty.
I underlined it with. Now this is an experiment dress, so don't ask me why I underlined with green. It's what I had to hand, but it made it so heavy. I love it. Because there's no wondering, is it on, is it there? Because you feel it.
But I think it also, when it will drape around your body really nicely, you won't suddenly get like tucks up here and stuff.
Yeah, I like to underline, and that makes things warmer.
Yeah.
By default, but I do it really because I just like the weights. I made something in cotton the other day without lining it or underlining it, and I wore it out, and I felt super naked. I didn't like the feeling. So
but I think
I like my clothes to be heavy.
Is having that extra layer in between your body and your garments, so it's separate rather than clinging to you.
Yeah.
And I have a contrast lining. And yeah, so you can make your own separate slip dresses, but I love lining stuff as well because it gives you the weight, and it also sort of protects the garment a bit from the inside. You don't have to do all the seam finishes, so you got like a nice finish from the inside.
Yes, because how's the inside of this look? It's how did I do it? It's a while since I made this. Yeah, so there's no really messy seams here.
You just left the side seams, so you can change the sizes, isn't it? Just to alterate it a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, I always use a huge seam allowance where I can, because I like to let things out if I have to. But also it gives you fitting room when you're working it out, when you're putting it on.
Yeah.
But I do like the weight of this, but it just means when I go on holiday, I can't take anything that I've made because everything's so damn heavy because they're underlined and
extra
you can't take your
suitcase.
things. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, Astra is saying, can you put weights in the hem? Yeah, that's another thing.
Oh,
it's just a really good thing. Yeah, it doesn't have to be the meta weights. It's even just, for example, what I've done, like the same as you. I don't like it being too light. If you make a facing out of a heavier cotton, for example, that will give it the weight. Or even if you have a thin cotton dress, if you have a pin hem, that's going to be super floaty. If you give it a really nice deep facing of maybe 10 centimeters. 4 inches, that's gonna suddenly drape it really nicely.
That's a good idea. I used to do ribbon hems and things like that, and I haven't done that for a while.
No, yeah, you can use those different, but again, it's the same thing, isn't it? It gives it a bit of finish. Also, if it looks nice as well. And the nice thing about making your own clothes, you can do exactly the lining you want. Like, you can do sometimes I do, that's more for summer dresses, but I do the bodice in cotton, because it's more comfortable. And when I do the skirt in like a silky lining, because that will give you a nice swish. And because the cotton, she's my manager, not she's my friend, but she always wanted to line summer cotton dresses in cotton. And I always thought, the skirts are just gonna like sort of run against each other and not fall nicely. So you can sort of, if you make your own, you can have it exactly right for you.
Yep. Fabric you want, the colours you want, the print you want. Yeah. I think people forget how back in the day when I was at school, people who had homemade clothes were looked down upon as being poor and whatever. And in my case, it was true. But you're richer because your clothes are always a better quality. You've got somebody in your life who loves you enough to make you a garment. They missed the point completely. They've missed the point. It's not about being poor or not having. You're fortunate if you've got somebody in your life who's going to look at you and spend their time, which is limited, on making you something. They didn't grasp that concept.
Invest that time. Yeah,
they don't see that side. I see that side of it, but they didn't. So they're probably in Primark now. Shopping away, but,
it's sort of, and I think also maybe because like a few generations ago, everybody would have been in handmade clothes because that's just what you did. And then it's suddenly like within, maybe it's not even that long, it's suddenly gone completely out there. So it's nice that we're sort of getting back to it, isn't it?
Yeah, I just think it's amazing that you can, if you practice, you can see something on the telly or see somebody on the road and say, oh, I like that, and actually make it.
Yes.
I just find that amazing that you can really look at something and bring it to life for yourself or change it to what would suit your body. And I think that's the best thing about sewing. You don't have to see it in the store and cry because it doesn't fit you and it's not your size and they didn't think you have hips and whatever.
Cost a fortune as well, isn't it? And I
was in the store a few weeks ago. They wanted £70 for this little polyester thing. And I'm like, well, I mean, obviously, I guess everybody in the supply chain needs to be paid fairly. I understand that. But when I looked at the price for £70, I'm thinking, I could make that.
Yes, and make it in a nice fabric and make it last as well and wash nice.
And be cheaper. Although sewing is not cheap.
But it's a sort of, it's basically, as you said, it's your annual leave, isn't it? Or it's your weekends, it's your, it's your evenings where you're not paying yourself, but paying yourself is really nice clothes, basically, rather than getting paid to do something.
Yeah. So as I get older, my wardrobe gets smaller and smaller. because I shop less and less.
Yes.
And I don't have the
Also-
time to sew as much as I want to.
But also, you have the clothes you make when you make yourself, you wear again and again. And the great thing is as well, you can sort of adapt it. As you said, you can also, if you want to make something new, you have lots of like basically ready-made sewing patterns, whether you bought them or you drafted yourself, which is of course what you did when you created your sewing patterns, which is what I teach. So you can just always pick it and change it slightly. So basically, this dress and that dress, I started from the same block. And I just
Right.
changed the bodies, but the sleeve basically fits you and stuff, so you can sort of have, you know, it basically look good and it works for you rather than in a shop. Sometimes it's beautiful, you try it on and it's just like, oh, what
Yeah.
am I thinking?
I mean, I noticed that the pattern sleeves, even when I was a child, I used to sit in orders and look at the pattern books. You'd never see anybody that looks like me in the pattern books
Yeah.
at all. And I think anybody over 30, maybe 25, was never on the pattern sleeve. And I used to think about that, even as a younger person. I used to think that's a bit odd.
Yeah.
Things like that. And so I thought when I came out with my ideas, it's an opportunity to address perhaps something that hadn't been addressed in the same way before. I mean, people do sewing patterns now, but sometimes the things I find a bit loose. I don't really want all my silhouettes loose. I'm a nipped in waist type of bigger skirt type of person. So I thought I'd look at those sort of silhouettes in my designs, things that you could like wear to work, things you could wear out of an evening without looking too teenagery, if that's
Yeah.
a word, or to following a definite trend that's out on the high road now. Because I never been a trend led person. I've always done something a bit offbeat. So that was sort of my thinking behind my designs. I think to myself, is it something that's challenging enough to make but not too simple? Is it something that would appeal to somebody in my age range? And I try to tick the boxes there.
Yeah, I think it's what you're saying is really right. That the two sewing patterns you made, so they're proper garments. And like that's sort of normally in Vogue, we're sort of on a runway model, like 18, where you don't really have any fitting. But with you've actually taken the care that it fits different bodies and stuff, which it's just why I think it's really nice, because as you say, quite often when they have nowadays a lot of patterns, when you start looking, they're actually all the same shape. And they're like a t-shirt, but with we don't actually have to sort of take the care to make it fit the body, like there are
yes, because
and
everything's
sort of
quite loose.
like, the US actually is designed for that and then can be fitted to that as well. Natalie saying they're very elegant. They're just like, I think they're proper dresses, aren't they? Yeah.
Thank you. I'm not a fan of like patch pockets and things like that unless they're structured in some way. I don't like when my pockets hang. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a fan of droopy things in that sense.
No, they have to be invisible. They have sort of either a statement, like on a pair of trousers, you can have but on a dress, I think they have to be usable, but they shouldn't distort the lines.
That's how I see things. I don't like things to distort the line, because I remember I'm really fussy. I had a suit made, and the guy, I had my friend, he used to get his suits made there, and I got my suit made there, and I said to him, look, this is the picture, this is what I want. They were fantastic. And it came without any pockets inside.
No.
Hey, I said, mate, no, this is my mate's suit. Pockets here, pockets in there, pockets here. What's this about?
So they didn't put any pockets in the jacket?
No. Just two on the outside. None of the inside ones. Now, I'm being funny because I'm not going to use them because I don't want them to distort the line, but on principle, I want them.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't put a tissue in there.
Yeah. But it's like with some trousers, I on really fitted skinny trousers, I don't have pockets, because I think that's even if you don't use them, sometimes the lining is going to come up and sort of you always like tucking them in. But for a jacket, you want like lots of pockets. Even just the pieces of paper and all these sort of random bits you carry around.
It seems unfair because my friend's jacket, he had umpteen pockets everywhere. I said, you know what? The next one you make, pockets everywhere, and monogram my name, please, on the inside.
Yes.
because I don't see why. But as a rule, I don't really put things in pockets because they do distort the line, particularly on the hips. I don't really want a pocket on the hip. I've got enough going on there as it is. I'd rather just have a sleek line. Why are we talking about pockets? I've taken this a different direction.
Oh no, because we're talking about how sewing patterns, how it has to be well made. So like even
Right,
like
okay.
pockets have to be anchored, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
And I think
Yes.
especially like in autumn and you with cold, actually having a proper pocket is really good, isn't it?
Well, it's good for posing in pictures. You can just
Yes,
pop
yeah.
your hand in and pose. But yes, an anchored pocket is always appreciated. That's always nice.
Yeah.
But it's challenging to think practically as well as aesthetically. But yeah,
I think you've
I
done
think
it.
you've got to be comfortable in your clothes. I think because
Yes, yeah.
nothing worse than because I remember going out to a party once. No, it was a funeral actually, but the wake was like a party, and I had a dress on, and it was a smidge too short, and I was there.
Ah, yes, yeah.
I felt really conscious, and somebody actually said it to me. Cheeky bugger, he goes to me, "What are you wearing clothes too small for?" And I was like, "Oh, for God's sake!" But yes, I don't like being uncomfortable. I don't like things riding up. I don't like things too, I like to be comfortable.
But it's again, it's what you when you make your own clothes, you can just do it. It's like you can have exactly the length, but you feel comfortable, and it's a look how you want it. Because I now you see it's like on teenage girls quite often because at the moment the fashion, I don't know how it's other place, but UK it's very very short, and then in real like it probably looks great online. In real life, they're constantly like pulling, and it's sort of that sort of it's sort of again like their look and comfort, getting that balance right.
But I think people aren't bothered about fit anymore. Because I saw a girl online and she was beautiful and she had a skirt and the comments were really, you look gorgeous, you look fire, girl, you're this, you're that and the other. And all I saw was the back of the skirt was really riding up because she had a good sized bum. And I'm like, am I the only one seeing this?
I
They're
think
not commenting. You know you can't write it down because they'll have your guts for garters.
Yes,
But I'm thinking, do you not know about
I
level
don't buy.
hems and
But as you said, it's like if everything is basically slightly oversized or it's sort of nobody makes their own clothes, you don't actually have an understanding that there shouldn't be wrinkles there. It's only once you start making your own clothes where you actually realize. It's like when you look at any shopping websites, the trousers are so badly fitted, and you think like, when people think that's how trousers should hang, isn't it? Because
I
that's
find
how
it
it looks at the
interesting.
model.
I mean, I get it wrong sometimes, obviously, but I just look and I think that's glaringly obvious. The back is a good inch or so higher than the front, and she couldn't bend down, that's for sure, in that skirt. But I don't people care? They probably don't care. I don't know. A fashion emergency.
Yes.
Woo, woo, woo. Fashion emergency. Oh, that's funny. But I also, come to think of it, I saw I think the reason people are returning their clothes so often now is that people aren't fussed about fabrics either. Because I was on a website, I can't find it now, where they was showing as a dress and it was made from polyester. And the comments said, "This is a great dress for summer. It's really breathable." And I was like, huh? That's not right. In the review, in the comment of the, and I'm thinking, why is she saying that? Because I know for sure polyester dresses are not breathable because I've made the mistake of wearing them in summer and,
if it's
overwhelming
really
with
loose,
deodorant.
it can be floaty, but it's never breathable. Yes, no, it's
That was
opposite.
fitted. It was a fitted dress. It was a fitted dress, very close polyester. And the lady said in the comments in the reviews, "I love it. It's really breathable." And I'm thinking, no.
No, you wear it once, and then you could never. You just have to keep on washing it, and just No, it's just
this is why people are returning things because they're listening to those sorts of reviews that are clearly misunderstood or misguided. I don't know.
Yeah. So no, that's it's sort of quite strange, but it also puts you off buying stuff. So it's sort of but what's more like about when you make your own, you can even the fabric shops, at least they tell you what the fabric is most of the time. I know you had an unlucky one. I've had some where they definitely stretch when it's supposed to be 100% cotton.
Yeah, that one was unbelievable.
It's sort of, Natalie saying it's like wearing a plastic bag.
Yes, exactly. Like because it makes you sweat quicker.
Yeah.
It does. So I'm really surprised to read that sort of review on a garment.
Yeah, it's even somebody. Yeah, it's like, and I think it's a problem because you trust it online as well, isn't it? You sort of you have to sort of read the comments and you hope they're right. So no.
Yeah, I do look at customer reviews. I know that some of them are fake and made up, but I do read them before I buy most things. But that would have really that surprised me. I found that jarring. I've never seen anything that unusual before in a review, because clearly can't be right.
No, but that's what you only know because you're making your own clothes, isn't it? So that's why I think it's like one of our skills, whether it's using sewing patterns, drafting your own, making sewing patterns. You say, like all the skills you learn are really applicable when you go shopping, and like you really understand, like, you know, why is that not hanging? Why is it too short at the back? Actually, I now do, because one of the things I don't make myself is leggings. I buy leggings for when I actually do sports, and I always have to basically lower the front by that much so the bottom is high enough, because you can't make it longer. But I'm the same because I've got a round bum, and they all like, I don't, but I also think most women have like bottoms, you know, like it's like really, I've never bought one where they actually had enough room. I wonder if they just yank it up at the back and then it just sort of slides down.
Yeah.
I
mean, I used to be a gym girly. I hope to be again, actually. Go back to the gym. I was a big gym girly and I love my weightlifting. And I remember one time I was sitting on the floor. I think I must have been doing a seated row. And this girl, she used to train her there with her daughter. Both of them were stunning. And she came to me and she whispered, and she was saying that people could see the crack of my bum because these things are not giving you the room that you need. So the pot was boiling over. And I was like, oh my God, the place is full of men. I was so embarrassed. But that's the thing when you buy these workout clothes online, for me, not online, but full stop, they never give me enough room in the back that I need, particularly when you're bending and lifting weights off the floor. So
I wonder
I'm
if it's a
going to
bit
break my
better
own.
now because more women are doing that stuff. But I even my stuff I bought 2 years ago, it's still like the same. So you know how you can sort of fix it yourself, but it's just weird because you want
it depends
that
where you
full
shop.
movement.
Carrymore isn't bad if you know that brand. Carrymore, they're not cheap, but they're not bad. They're not Lululemon expensive, but they I find they're quite good quality. Seams are nicely done. They do give a little bit more room in the back, I think, but nothing's perfect out there for me. But Carrymore are very good because I used to do a lot of walking and I used to like their fit because they seem to understand where to put a pocket. They're very genius actually where they put pockets, so you can go out really empty-handed, but now you've got room for your keys and your phone and a lot of their gear. So there's a free advert for Carrymore.
Because this little sort of foray into something.
Sponsor me, Carrymore. I'm here. I'm talking about you.
Give her sponsorship.
But they got lots of good pockets.
I think that's a good way to finish. We sort of we talked about
we've gone off the beaten path.
I think what it comes down is basically if you make your own, you make it fit you, whether it's autumn dresses, whether it's trousers, but you actually understand how everything fits, you know, fit yourself, work for yourself. And thank you so much, Jen, for joining me on Our Life. And
thank you very much for the invitation.
You're very welcome. Lovely to finally sort of chat with you in depth, because we sort of do our chats on the Q&As on my website and stuff, but not as much properly. And if you haven't followed Jen, please do her, because I think you have hit 50 on YouTube now.
I've hit 50 on YouTube. So if anybody wants to give me a topic to talk about live, please let me know and I'll do it. And I endeavor to make more YouTube videos as well. And I'm everywhere at the moment. I am on Pinterest, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, and probably somewhere else I've forgotten. With the same handle, Miss J Sews.
And if you're not watching live, afterwards the handle is in the description as well. But
lovely. Thank you so much, Charlotta.
No, you're very welcome. Lovely to chat to you. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining us in the chat as well. And
appreciate it. I know some of you stayed up late for this, so that's very kind.
Midnight, big shoulder pads and whatnot. But lovely to chat to all of you. Lovely to chat to you, Jen. Bye-bye, everybody.
Lovely, Charlotta. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.